In this video, we are going to continue to discuss on question number 3, still on chapter biodiversity. Question 3a, explain the differences between species richness and also species abundance in biodiversity. So you have to define these two terms for 2 marks, okay? So 1 mark each. So for species diversity, okay, is basically the number of different species in a particular area. Okay, the number of different species in a particular area. Okay, so that is for 1 mark. And then for the second term, which is species abundance, okay, it is the number of individual in each species. Okay, the numbers of individuals in each species. Okay, so for example, for species diversity, okay, for example here we have two different areas. Okay, two different areas, area A, habitat A, and also habitat B. Okay, so habitat A, for example, for both habitat A and habitat B will have 5 different species. Okay, 5 different species. So we have the purple species. So for habitat A, they have 5 individuals of species purple. Okay, species purple. And then for example, another we have five different species, right? 5 different species for both habitat A, habitat B will have 5 species. Okay, so another species is in red color, so also they have 5 individual. For example, 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5. The blue in species, for example, also not blue but green here. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2 3 4 5. So how many we have already? The red, the purple, the green, 3, and then orange, 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, and then we have the blue species. Okay, 1 2 3 4 5. So 5 species. Each species will have, for example, 5 individuals. Okay, individuals. Okay, so but as for habitat B, okay, so they also, habitat B will also have 5 species, but for the purple species there are 10 individual. 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Okay, 10 individuals of species purple. Okay, but the other 5 species, it only exists 1 or 2 individual. Okay, so for example, blue there's only 2, 1 2. For yellow there's only 1. Okay, for the green there's only 2, okay, individual. For red there's only 1. Okay, have I include all? 1 2 3 4 5. 1 2. Okay, so this is what we call as species abundance, the number of individual in each species. So because habitat A will have more individuals for each species, so habitat A is considered as more diverse. Okay, it is more diverse. More diverse, okay, compared to habitat B. Discuss the importance of biodiversity for 2 marks. Obviously, in your notes, okay, you can list out, there are so many importance of biodiversity. Okay, not only 2 points, but you have so many points that you could list down. So one of the importance of biodiversity is for health. Okay, health. So you have to elaborate. So what is the importance of biodiversity in the health field? Is that the flora and the fauna and also the microorganisms that are found in its natural habitat in the forest, for example, they are used for extracting the chemicals, biochemicals component to make drugs. Okay, so over half of all prescription drugs are made up of organisms that originate in its natural habitat. Okay, and then for the second importance is that the organisms, okay, in its natural habitat can serve as food. Okay, food, for example, this is for food security, to provide nutrition and also well-being for human. And then three is for fisheries. Okay, so fisheries provide the fisheries industry will provide food for the human, and also uh, they can also serve as recreational park. Okay, and then for forestries, okay, another important point or importance of biodiversity is that uh, the forest, okay, will hold for the natural gene pool and also habitat provider for the wild type, for the wild organism. Okay, forestry, forestry, okay, it is the home for wild animals. Okay, they serve as the natural gene pool for these different types of species of organism. So another importance is for tourism. Okay, so the forest or the natural habitat of organism, the ecosystem, okay, the different types of ecosystem will provide place for tourists to explore the biodiversity, especially with endemic organism, and it can also serve as recreational purpose. Okay, and then another point that you can include is that the organism, okay, in that are found in the forest, the wild, or the wild life, okay, will be can be used in the biotechnology field. Okay, so they are used in biotechnology field. Okay, which is it uses the genes of the native or endemic organism to make new crops and also medicine. And then another importance that you can include in your answer is indigenous knowledge. Okay, indigenous knowledge. Okay, so indigenous knowledge from are gained from indigenous people. So these are people that live in the natural habitat, for example in the rainforest. These indigenous people have used sustainable environmental practice while they are practicing or they are interacting with the environment, okay, with the natural habitat. They are interacting with the natural habitat. They access their food source from the natural habitat, but yet they will still sustain the natural habitat without destroying the forest, for example. Okay, so we should gain this indigenous knowledge from the indigenous people. Okay, so those are importance of biodiversity that you could include in your answers. Question C. Discuss pollution as factors that causes threat to biodiversity in Malaysia. So basically, pollution is one of the cause that it is one of the factors that causes threat to biodiversity. Okay, so examples of pollution can be due to acid rain. Okay, acid rain, or the effects of burning of fuels. Okay, so another examples of pollution is from the chemicals from the industry and also agriculture, such as the usage of pesticides and also fertilizers that will leak into the water, okay, into the water. So this also the industry, okay, so the industry can also create thermal pollution. So all this pollution can cause abiotic and biotic changes in both freshwater and also marine ecosystem. Okay, so they will uh, this pollution will cause threat, okay, to the abiotic and biotic component of ecosystem in freshwater and also marine animals, okay, or organism. So it is also believed that increased UV radiation because of ozone depletion is the main cause of declines in the amphibian population worldwide. Okay, so the answer was 3 marks. Okay, so for the 3 marks, you could list all the factors of pollution, like I've mentioned, the usage of pesticide or fertilizers, the release of toxic chemicals, the thermal pollution, okay, will cause changes to abiotic and biotic components of freshwater and marine ecosystem. Okay, so those are the marks that you could gain for uh, answers for question C. Okay, list out all the different factors that cause pollution and also the effects to the ecosystem. Okay, it causes changes to abiotic and biotic components. Question D. Explain how in situ conservation helps to conserve biodiversity. So basically, like I've mentioned, okay, in situ is preserving and conserving organism, okay, wild species, wildlife, in its natural habitat, in its natural environment. Okay, so there are national parks, for example, okay, national parks and also reserve that are established to protect and preserve threatened or endangered species in its natural environment. So that is for the first point. Okay, parks, national parks or sanctuaries, okay, that are established for this organism, this wildlife to be protected. So you could list out the for the second mark the examples of different national parks. For example, we have the Taman Negara National Park in Pahang. We have the Kuala Gandah Elephant Sanctuary, for example. Okay, so you could list out all these different natural parks or sanctuaries for the second marks. Okay, so these natural parks will also be as serve as recreational purposes. Okay, they can be a site for tourists to visit also. Okay, so that's the end of discussion of chapter 7, which is on ecology. So I hope you understand all that we have discussed from part A and also part B. Okay, so that's the end. Thank you.